Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over the top 10 NFL cornerbacks for the 2022 NFL season. I'm going to try and finish the series. I'm also going to start trying to do weekly prediction videos, as well as a video about some of the reasons why each NFL team can improve and will improve from last season. So I think that those will be some interesting series that will be coming up. Hoping to try to get some more of a consistent upload schedule out upcoming, but I started work a couple weeks ago, so I've just been adjusting to the new schedule, but I'm excited to get some more videos out for you guys, so let's get right into it. At number 10, we have Kenny Moore from the Indianapolis Colts. I have Kenny Moore projected at 3 interceptions, 38 return yards, 12 passes defended, 77 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and then for coverage stats, 70 completions on 117 targets, 2 sacks, 730 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 81.5 passer rating against. Some of the points of emphasis was that last year was kind of a breakout year for him after about 4 years of being a mediocre cornerback. I think that it'll be interesting to see if he'll be able to replicate that this year or even improve from last year, especially with Matt Ryan on the Colts and a potentially new direction for the team. And as with a lot of the players on this list, improving coverage D. There's only a few players on this list like Jalen Ramsey, J.C. Jackson's getting better, Xavier Howard, Tre'Davious White especially, who are really good at coverage defense. And there's a few players on this list who could really step up their game by getting better at coverage defense. So I think that that's something that Kenny Moore needs to work on, and if he does, then he could be a really good cornerback this year. At number 19, we have Marlon Humphrey, 3 interceptions, 18 return yards, 14 passes defended for 69 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 53 completions on 91 targets for 610 yards and 5 touchdowns. Marlon Humphrey is one of those players who's not struggled with coverage D in his career, but he's been an amazing cornerback for the last few years, but 2019 was really his best season. And I think that we could see more of that if the rest of the Ravens defense around him also has a better season as well. So I'm really excited to see what Marlon Humphrey can do this year. I'm excited to see how the Ravens defense bounces back from a subpar season for them. Them and the Steelers both had subpar seasons defensively last year. So it'll be interesting to see how those two teams bounce back, especially with the Bengals offense really rolling. Lamar Jackson being back and having a more consistent offensive strategy will definitely help the defense get back to its normal form, but I'm interested to see how the Ravens defense comes together next year. At number 8, we have Marshon Lattimore. Marshon Lattimore has always been a really consistent top 10 cornerback in the league. I think he's hovered mostly between 5 and 10 most of the years he's been in the league. 2 interceptions, 32 return yards, 17 passes defended for 58 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, fumble recovery, 58 completions on 102 targets for 780 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's one of those guys who will let up more yards than touchdowns, but he's very consistent on the court, on the field. One of the biggest things is that no, Sean Payton won't be there. Sean Payton's been the Saints head coach for however many years now, and that's going to be a big change for a lot of the players who have been there for a while. Marshon Lattimore's been there his whole career. And also, how can he improve going into his 6th year? He's been doing the same thing for 5 years. He's never been able to make an all-pro team. What type of things will the new coach bring in that will help him improve his game, or that will change the way that the Saints or Marshon play defense in general? At number 7, we have Malcolm Butler. This might be a biased, optimistic take, but I think that cornerbacks have historically done better on the Patriots than when they go to other teams. Malcolm Butler especially played really well in New England, and he also played really well when he left New England, but players like him, players like the guy that went to Tennessee, there's a few different Patriots players who have done really well with the Patriots and then still done very well with other teams, but they haven't gotten the same recognition. Hoping that Malcolm Butler can have a bounce-back year this year, go back to his 2016-2017 form, 4 interceptions, 65 return yards, and a touchdown. 14 passes defended for 74 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 67 completion for 116 targets, 625 yards, 4 touchdowns. Points of emphasis, how will things actually end up during all this after the way that he left New England last time, not playing him in Super Bowl 52 and then us losing because the Eagles' passing offense went crazy. And then can he go back to the coverage D he played on the Patriots? He didn't play the same coverage D on Tennessee as he did with the Patriots, so if he can go back to that, back to the Patriot kind of defense, then I think that'll help him as well. But I'm curious to see if this is actually going to work out because he left New England in very weird circumstances. At number 6, we have Jair Alexander. Had a breakout year in 2020, then got injured in 2021. I have him at 4 interceptions, 46 return yards, 16 passes defended, 57 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 49 completions on 104 targets, 440 yards against, 3 touchdowns, and a 53 pass running against. Points of emphasis, can he get comeback player of the year? Maybe. If he has a really good year, coming back similar to 2020, maybe even improving a little bit. And then can he really, really pop off? I think that Jair Alexander has potential to be a top 3 cornerback in the league. He's shown that he has potential to be a top 3 cornerback in the league. Last year he got injured. I think this year's the year that he really needs to take that next step if he wants to be recognized as a top 5 or top 3 cornerback. Number 5, I have Tre'Davious White. I think he also missed a couple games last year, not too many though. Have him getting 4 interceptions, 53 return yards, 15 passes defended, 54 tackles, a forced fumble, 2 recoveries, and 39 completions on 82 targets. Tre'Davious White is one of those players who you will never score on him. You will never get yards on him. He will pick off the ball. He is the best coverage defender in the league. This is wrong. Sorry. Points of emphasis, there aren't really a whole lot for him. He just needs to stay healthy and do what he does. I think that he has potential to get another first-team All-Pro this year, depending on how the Bills do, depending on how the Bills' defense works together going into this season. They took a step back last year from the previous couple of seasons, but they showed it in the playoffs until Patrick Mahomes came in and won in overtime. But generally speaking, the Bills' defense wasn't bad last year, but I think that they can take another step up. I think that Tre'Davious White playing a full season and playing at his best form will help them do that. Number 4, we have Trevon Diggs. I have him projected at 7 interceptions, 84 return yards, and a touchdown, 19 passes defended, 54 tackles. And I do have him slightly improving his coverage defense with 57 completions on 102 targets, 740 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I think that if he does go more towards the coverage defense route this season, that his interceptions will go down a little bit. That's why I have him at 7. I don't think he's going to have as many interceptions this year as he had last year, but I still think he's going to be one of the most have one of the most interceptions in the league, as well as some of the most passes defended. He's a phenomenal player. He had a phenomenal season last year. I think that it's too early to say that he is the best cornerback in the league. I think that if he can change his game a little bit, play a little bit more conservatively, then he can have a really impressive season. Number 3, I have Xavier Howard. Xavier Howard, the top 3 on this list have been the most consistent cornerbacks the last 3 seasons. Howard, 6 interceptions, 65 return yards. I have him at 19 passes defended, 54 tackles, a forced fumble, 51 of 97 for 650 yards and 5 touchdowns. And the biggest things here are no Brian Flores and new AFC offenses. The Dolphins haven't had the most difficult competition the last few years offensively. The AFC is really changing this year. I don't think that it's going to impact Tre'Davious White much because he's been consistent every year he's played. So I didn't really mention it on his, and all the other people are pretty much NFC guys for the most part, except for Marlon Humphrey. And Xavier Howard is one of the better cornerbacks where the new AFC offenses really impact him. So I think that that's going to be one thing that he'll need to adjust to, especially because he does give up a decent number of yards and touchdowns compared to Tre'Davious White, J.C. Jackson, those type players. But I think that he's still going to have a phenomenal season this year, and I'm excited to see the Dolphins play with him and Tyreek Hill. I think it'll be some good defensive battles. Number 2, we have Jalen Ramsey. 3 interceptions, 23 return yards, 20 passes defended, 74 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, a recovery, 54 completions on 104 targets, 374 yards, a touchdown, and 51.5 pass rating against. Main points of emphasis, he's Jalen Ramsey. And will he have more freedom to do what he wants with these new defensive signings? I think he could have one of his highest. I think he could have 5, maybe even 6 interceptions this year with the new defensive signings, with Bobby Wagner, Aaron Donald coming back, all the Rams defensive buffs this year. I think that he could have more freedom, but he just likes playing solid, strong, all-pro defense. I don't think he likes going for all of the flashy plays, even though he does get a lot of them, just being a more conservative cornerback. And that's worked for him, and he's been the best quarterback in the league for the last 5 years. So I'm excited to see how he does this year, how the Rams defense is this year, and I think he could really pop off, maybe even get a few extra interceptions this year. And at number 1, I have J.C. Jackson. I have J.C. Jackson catching 7 interceptions, 101 return yards, and a touchdown, 25 passes defended, 65 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 recovery, 55 completions on 115 targets for 680 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 47.0. New team, new system, no Bill Belichick, new AFC offenses. Again, doesn't impact Tre'Davious White as much. Impacts Xavier Howard, and it impacts J.C. Jackson. J.C. Jackson especially is going to be on the Chargers, which means that he's going to be against the Chiefs. He's going to be against Derek Carr and the Raiders. And he's going to be against the Broncos with Russell Wilson. There's going to be a lot of tough games for him. I think that his coverage stats might suffer a little bit, but I think that his interceptions, I think he'll still be strong with interceptions, passes defended, stuff like that. I think that he was the best cornerback last year and deserved first team All-Pro. Although I am a Patriots fan and I'm probably biased on that behalf, I do believe that he deserved a Pro Bowl in 2020 and he deserved an All-Pro in 2021. That being said, I think that this year he's going to finally get his All-Pro. He's going to get his, and I think that it's going to be an amazing season for him. I am rooting for him all the way, and I really hope he has an amazing year, even though he is no longer on the Patriots. So I'm really excited this year. I love watching the cornerbacks. I love watching how they all change and grow and stuff like that. It's one of the positions that I think that a lot of people don't really recognize as much, so I think that this will be really interesting. And I'm really rooting for J.C. Jackson because he's probably one of my favorite players in the league right now. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Hopefully I can get some more videos coming out soon. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.